What's going on, people? Welcome to your Saturday morning show. What's going on with your boy Flex? Mark, I don't know where he is, mate. He's MIA. He's MIA after his Instagram live last night. People saying he's hungover today. Hope not, because he's obviously got his football going on this morning as well. So look, anyway, we got a lot to get through today. It's the Villa Man United preview. We've got Villa tomorrow. We're going to talk about the Glazers as well, targeting a marquee signing. The Glazers targeting a marquee signing. You know what I'm saying? Like, pull the other one. Pull the other one. But we are going to talk about that. I want to talk about the protest as well that's coming up on Thursday and some of the impacts that may have. Again, a little bit about that. And also a little bit about, I saw Ashley Young's comments on Lukaku as well. So towards the end of the show, I do want to talk about that. But straight in, before we start the preview, according to reports, Man United, or I say the Glazers, are targeting a marquee signing. And look, I saw a report in the Express that was basically saying that those targeted players that they're looking at are Mbappe, Neymar, and Haaland. They're the three players that the Glazers are looking at as the marquee signing. Then, contrary to those reports, I saw in the Manchester Evening News and a couple of other outlets that they're saying that it's Grealish. Now, take your pick of which one it is for the pacification of it. But at the end of the day, we know it's bullshit. We said you can get as Haaland, Mbappe, and Neymar all in one window. Don't make me laugh. Like, stop. We're not going to be bought by appeasing us by just getting us a quick signing. Of course, we want signings. Of course, we need investment into the squad, right? Because if we have another bad signing, we're all going to be saying, why didn't they spend any money? Which is what we said last year. So yes, we do need that. But this whole thing of it's to appease the fans, i.e. the fans are then going to forget and get off our necks. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen, Joel Glazer. Like, if you're watching now, which you're obviously definitely not, but if you were and you were looking in the screen at me, eye to eye, I would tell you, and you need to listen, that it's not going to happen. We're not just going to get great signings and just forget that you haven't given up the voting rights. You haven't given up the right amount of shares. You haven't taken the club out of debt. You haven't started putting your own money into this club. We're not going to forget. Even if we won the Premier League, Simon Jordan, the prat on what's his face on TalkSport was saying, you know, United fans are only pissed off because they're not winning nothing. Like, we've been out here doing green and gold from when Sir Alex was here, when we were winning the Champions League, when we were winning the Premier League, when we were winning FA Cups. We've been out here against the Glazers. So any pundit and any ex-player or any person who wants to talk shit that we're only protesting and doing this now because we're crap and not challenging for the top honours are talking out their ass. And to the Glazers, I'm not having it. This whole trying to get signings to appease the fans is all bullshit. We're not here for it. You can say it all you want. The PR spin can be in the rumour mill all it wants. The media can push that agenda all they want, which, to be fair, they're only reporting on what they may have been told from inside sources, which, fair enough, that's their job. But we ain't buying it. Shove it up your batty. Like, we don't care. We ain't buying it. Do you know what I'm saying? The Grealish situation is interesting because really and truly, we've been long time admirers of Grealish. I believe we got Donny van der Beek last year instead of getting Jack Grealish, who was obviously a lot more expensive. And it's a weird one getting Jack Grealish because there's two sides to it. If we did get Jack Grealish, it's almost, you could say that it's going into an area that we don't really need right now when we're going to keep Cavani. We've got Martial and Rashford to challenge on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, we've got Mason Greenwood and Ahmad for next season. We'll see what happens there. And Dan James, but all right, cool. You could say that Jadon Sancho would make more sense. We've got Bruno at number 10, who's immovable, irreplaceable, undroppable, whatever you want to call it. And like Avinash says there, Grealish is not needed. And on the other side of the coin, though, you're talking about a player who can give you a different dynamic to all of those players we mentioned. He'll give you a different dimension to Rashford. He'll give you a different dimension to Greenwood. Would he give you a different dimension to Bruno? Yeah, he would, because Bruno's thing is, I'm getting the ball, I'm looking for that killer pass, and we're going to score now. I mean, Bruno doesn't travel well with the ball. In fact, actually, when I see Bruno go to wide positions, just an observation I had actually kind of off topic. he did it against Roma as well. And when he kind of makes runs in behind, unless he's like a good 10 yards ahead of someone, he's not really that player to like run in behind. Like he will willingly run, but he can't travel with the ball like Jack Grealish. Like he can't. Jack Grealish is almost, I was going to say untackleable, which is a mad made up word that I've just made up now at 10:35 on Saturday morning. But it's almost like he's immovable off the ball. He's so strong. He wins fouls for fun. Bruno's not that guy. Bruno's not the guy to pick up the ball and travel with it and commit players and almost you need a 2-on-1 to mark him. He isn't that. Do you know what I'm saying? So Grealish would give a different dynamic and he is a phenomenal player. But in this moment, when we already don't have many power moves to make, if we're going to make a marquee signing, I wouldn't see it being Grealish. At the same time, I wouldn't see it being Haaland and I wouldn't see it being Kane. I definitely wouldn't see it being Mbappe because we're fighting tooth and nail to keep Cavani. Why? Because we want to spend money elsewhere. If we get to keep Cavani on his wages, all right, cool, give him the piece. He's going to be free. Everyone's laughing at the word untackleable. Drop it, start putting it on social media. Untackleable. It is a thing. You can make up new stuff if it makes sense. And to me, it's not in the dictionary, but it makes sense. You're untackleable. You can't be tackled. Anyway, I can't see it being those big strikers, like I said, because we already haven't got much power moves to make. We haven't got much money to spend, and the priority clearly is elsewhere. Now, I'm still not really made up as to where the priority is. I know in my mind as a fan where it is. I know what you guys think the priority is, but I'm not sure that Man United are giving us the signs that we could definitely say their heart is in a centre-back, their heart is in a CDM, their heart is in a right wing. We just don't know. You know what I mean? Their heart is in a replacement for Wan-Bissaka, competition for Wan-Bissaka. We just don't know. So even though we know as fans, but what I do know is that they're fighting to keep Cavani. So that would suggest to me they're not going to fight to keep Cavani and then not spend £100 million in elsewhere in the squad. It does not make sense. And I think if we weren't playing Villa tomorrow, maybe it wouldn't be coming up with this Grealish situation. Shaikh says, I'm very sorry if I'm being inappropriate, but I want to say this because I'm afraid. I'm from India. Everyone call in 2 days. I'm losing someone I know. Please all stay home and continue to love United, hate Glazers, be safe. Shaikh, listen, that is not inappropriate. You're clearly struggling out there in India. The COVID situation out there is unreal. There's people literally in the streets, and no, I think there should be a time, even though we're a football channel and we talk about Man United, we have millions of fans across the world as a United fan base and us as a channel, and you're part of that community, you're part of that family. So be safe. And I'm sorry to hear that you're losing someone, bro. I really am. It's sad. It's sad what's going on out there. So yeah, thoughts with you, man. Karen says, Grealish would be good last year for 70 million. I agree. Sancho this year plus Rice and cheaper centre-back, i.e. Pau Torres, would be better for now. Imagine Grealish goes to City. 100% Karen, I agree with you there, because I hope I'm saying that name right, Karan maybe. If we get Grealish, it will maybe be out of stopping him going somewhere else. Like you said, if he goes to City or he goes to Chelsea or he goes to somewhere else, goes to Liverpool or whatever, yeah, we're going to look at it like, fuck, man. Like, we could have done with Grealish. But now he's not there at those teams. We're kind of saying we don't really need him. We have to put ourselves first in this. This is what I will say. When you're not where you want to be, you look outside of your house. Yeah. So when I was growing up, I didn't have certain things. You know, I come from a single parent household. I would say, oh, mum, so and so down the road's got the PlayStation. So and so's got the new trainers. Oh, so and so's allowed out late. Why can't I? And you look at outside your house at the things you don't have or the things that aren't kind of important to you. And my mum always used to say, they're not my pitney. They're not my child. They're not my concern. And it's almost like we have to do that at Man United, because what's going on outside is not really our concern, because we've got to get our own shit in order. And that last super chat said it right, even though they added the bit on at the end about Grealish going to City. They said it right. What's more important for Man United is to get a CDM, a centre-back, and maybe a right winger on top of that. That would benefit Man United and keeping Cavani. In the context of going a level up next season, what would make us go up more? Getting Grealish already in his front three that was scoring goals. Bruno's doing a mazza. Cavani's doing a mazza. We're going to keep him, remember. Rashford's got over 20 goals. Martial's got to come back in next season. Greenwood's flourishing. Got double figures this year, I think, or just below. and adding Grealish into that, or saying, you know what, let's fix up the centre-back partnership. Let's get a defensive midfielder so we can use Pogba better inside the midfield. Those are the things that are going to make us make a jump up next year, not necessarily adding Jack Grealish. So you have to think about ourselves. It's difficult because City are about to do a madness, potentially going to win the FA Cup and the Champions League, or Chelsea might be about to win the FA Cup or Champions League. And it hurts. But we have to remain focused. We have to look at our progress. We're in a Europa League final, and I was saying it the other day. It already feels like the gloss is off of that. It already feels like, oh, fucking hell, if we win it, you can't even really celebrate. It's not that deep, man. I think the two English teams are fighting it out for the Champions League. But we have to remember that for our team, in our process, it's a good step, and it's the right step to win the Europa League and finish second. Then next year, we should be doing what Chelsea are doing now. Chelsea had £250 million put into them. Look at Chelsea's attacking prowess. Look at Chelsea's midfield options. Look at Chelsea's centre-back options. You know what I mean? Chelsea made power moves. Although they were without a transfer window for a lot of time, they made power moves. Manchester City always make power moves. So, you know, we can't look outside our house too much. Matt Hunt says, Glazers out, morning you lot. Big up yourself, Matt Hunt. Aditya says, it's amazing how incompetent the owners are. Why can't we just buy a good CDM and a centre-back? This has been the priority since last season. Exactly, Aditya. You don't need to gas us with, I'm talking about the Glazers, with marquee signings unless they're in the right positions. Just go and get the right positions, yeah? Ryan says, flex, no need... Rafinha, Palhinha from Sporting for the CDM role. He's literally a 25-year-old Matic. I haven't seen him. He's a real gem. Look him up. Grealish is a City signing, which is interesting. Yeah, I don't know the player you're talking about, so I'll have to go and check him out. Mohammed says, do we still think we do not need a number 9 like Haaland, based on the argument that we do not create enough chances for our number 9, considering what Cavani has done? Well, that's an interesting point. It's an interesting point, because this is what I'm saying about a striker. A striker is a massive issue if Cavani leaves, because we can see what happens when you do have a good striker, that he will score goals. Cavani's got, what, is it 13 goals this year? He's got like, what, 5 in his last 6 or 6 in his last 7, something like that. He's in great scoring run. And I said it on the show I done last night. It's not like we've changed massively the style of football we play. It's not like Martial is, really unlucky because when he was playing, we were shit. And Cavani's coming and we're a whole different side and we create chances galore now. It ain't really that. It's just the fact that Cavani's a better number 9. And we need a better number 9 than Tony Martial. Martial can play there, he's proved that. But the consistency levels are not there. And he can play on the left as well. So Tony Martial is still valuable to us, and I'm not saying sell him. But we can see what happens when you play with a proper number 9. I'm the biggest Martial lover, one of the biggest, but I'm not afraid to say, Cavani's better than him as a number 9. He just is. Like, the balance of how we play through him, how he links to play. I know Tony can do that at times, and that is one of his strengths, and he's learning that. But he can't do what Cavani does. No one can. Apart from Kane and Lewandowski, Haaland, these types of players. So, I kind of see where you're coming from there. And Patish says, Grealish is just so good. It would just hurt not seeing him in our team, even though he's not a priority over central defenders and right wing. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, Patish. It's looking at the new toy syndrome, isn't it? Your boy down the road who's got the PS5, he's got all the games, he gets to stay up late, his cupboard's full of all the treats. You just look at his yard and you're just like, oh man, I want that. Even though you got leaks in your yard. You got mold and damp in your yard. Your priority is not getting a PS5. Your priority is not getting all the games. Your priority is to fix the leak and the damp in your yard. Do you know what I mean? You've got to look at what priorities are. Samuel says, do you believe that City have won the league? Yes, I do. If they lose to Chelsea, I think we can close the gap to 4 points as we play 3 games. Yeah, I see what you're saying there, but nah. In all honesty, Samuel, my simple answer to that question is no. I don't think we're going to... Well, is yes, I do think City won the league. I do. I can't see it not being that, to be fair. Even if they slip up against Chelsea, we've still got a bit of work to do, and we still need them to lose another 2 games, I would say. So, yeah, I'm not really for that. Let's go into the Aston Villa Man United preview, though. Smash a like on the video, you guys. Subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner as well. Hit the notification bell as well so you can guys see when we're going live. Look, we're in great form. You know what? because we're not really challenging for what we want to challenge for, right? We often forget about how well we're actually doing in the league. Do you know what I mean? We've only lost one of our last 27 league games, you know. We've won 17, drawn 9. Now, the problem is those 9 draws. I understand that. But we don't lose many games. We're unbeaten in the last 24 away games as well. 115, drawn 9. So, you know, it is difficult because we're not challenging for what we want to do. But we are consistent at not getting beat, at least, which I know is not good enough. We need to get more wins. We need to get more W's. You turn them nine draws into, say, 4 draws. You know what I mean? And 5 wins instead. It automatically looks a lot different. I get that. But we do deserve credit for you know, being unbeaten for a long, long time. And Villa have only won 2 of their last 7. Villa are going to be about Jack Grealish, which we spoke about what he does give you. We just spoke about how good he is. We know how good he is, and he's still missing for them. And Villa have been struggling. They really have. They're literally the Forrest Gump box of chocolates thing, where you literally do not know what you're going to get. So if he's out, which he is, the threats that they have, Ollie Watkins makes runs for fun, doesn't stop running. Great striker. It's almost like having 2 strikers up front when he plays up front by himself. He just does not stop. Ross Barkley is slowly coming into it. Otherwise, he was on the bench and out with a bit of an injury before and slowly coming into it now. Who else? Traore is always a threat on the right-hand side. El Ghazi can be a threat. McGinn and Louise in the midfield. But I think we should have enough to beat Villa. And if we win this game, and you look at the Leicester situation last night, they got slapped by Newcastle. I couldn't believe it. Well, I could believe it, actually. Well, no, I couldn't believe it. But in terms of Leicester slipping up at this stage of the season, I could believe it because they always seem to run out of steam. And if we win, we'll be 7 points clear of them with a game in hand, I think. Let me double check that. I'm sure we will. We'll be 7 points clear of them with a game in hand. And if Chelsea beat Man City, though, which will be a big ask, but they're obviously capable of doing it, we'll be 6 points clear of second if we get our win and Chelsea win. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Because we've got 2 games in hand over Leicester. And then the next game is against Leicester. So if we win this, second is done. I'll go on record as saying second is done. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is massive. Which is massive. And if we beat Leicester, like someone just said there, we can go 10 points clear of them, which I actually think the way it's going, actually, to be fair, you could say the way it's going on form, yeah, cool, we probably will beat Leicester because they're a mixed bag. But because we've got so many games in such a short space of time, and Solskjaer's going to have to make a lot of changes, especially for that Leicester one, not so much this Aston Villa one, which I'll talk about in a sec, we don't know what kind of performance we're going to see. Solskjaer even spoke about changing the whole 11. Do you know what I mean? And if we do that, we see what happens when we change the team around. We're not as consistent. Do you know what I'm saying? So you do have to look at that. Super chat here from the Delhi guy, Mr. David Naheen, says, yo, Flex, what's good, bro? If you get a chance, you should see the time zone difference between the UK and Florida. Regarding the game, we should win 2-1. Yeah, what is Florida? Are they like 6 hours behind? I want to say something like that. Is it? Or is it 8 hours? I don't know. But you're always at work when the show's on, so I don't know what times you work. But big up, you're always in the chat. Big up, David, the Delhi guy. But back to what I was saying. We need to make changes. Now, I want to see Solskjaer potentially go not as weak for this one, because I think the Thursday, Sunday is what we were used to in the lead up to this. We've been playing Europa knockout stages now for the last however many months. We're used to Sunday, Thursday. We've been doing that. If I look at who was substituted and who played and who started and who didn't play, okay, Mason Greenwood played 90 minutes, didn't he? So he should probably sit this one out. So that means that you can put in, Dan James is still injured, so you could maybe put in Mata. Maybe I would put in Dan James. Put in who could play on the right? Martial's not ready, obviously. Maybe put in Rashford on the right, but Mason Greenwood should sit out. Cavani was taken off with 20 minutes to go for Rashford, so Rashford should be starting. I would say Cavani could probably start again because he had a 20-minute rest. He was taken off on the 70th minute, so he can start this game and then get taken off and then rest on Tuesday. Who started on the left-hand side in that game? What was our team? It was Oh, Donny. Donny started and played 90 minutes, didn't he? I think. So Donny should probably play again. He can play again. And Bruno is the one. Now, Bruno is the one I think should be rested for this. And this is where we might need to jiggle it around a little bit. Because I would start Cavani, Rashford on the left, Donny in the middle, and number 10, because I think Bruno needs a rest. He can't play again on Tuesday, even though he will start, but I would rest him. And I would probably give Ahmad a go, you know. Not Ollie's never gonna do that. Right wing, he's never gonna do that. But I would. Someone said there, Donny won't start flex. I agree, he probably won't start. I think Solskjaer will go pretty strong on this. I think he will go Greenwood. I think he will go Cavani, Rashford, and Pogba. I think he'll put Rashford on the right, Pogba on the left, and Cavani up front. He'll go with Bruno again, and then I think he will go with Matic and McTominay. That's what I think he will go with, because McTominay didn't play, and Matic didn't play, and Fred played 90, I think. So I think he'll go with that. The back four, they will take the two fullbacks were taken off at half time. So there's no reason why they've only played a half of football, even though we were dreadful when Shaw and Wan-Bissaka went off. But they start for me. Lindelof didn't play, so he can start. And Harry Maguire, like I said, is used to doing Sunday, Thursday. So he will definitely start. And I think Dean Henderson will start again as well. He's the Premier League goalkeeper, and with the goalkeepers, he's not going to... I don't think he would, because the games are coming so thick and fast, unless someone picks up a knock. I don't think David De Gea will play in any of them, which is quite sad. I think he'll go with Dean Henderson in all of these 3 games. Which is quite sad, really. And if you think about it, it's a bit dodgy doing that. If David De Gea doesn't play one game until the Europa League final, that's a big risk, because his match rhythm's going to go. At least with the way we were doing it in the lead up to the semi-finals and going through, it was Sunday, Thursday. So De Gea was playing every Thursdays. Do you know what I'm saying? And then they're missing out on the weekend. But now the finals on the 25th of May, and we don't play it till then. So what's De Gea supposed to do when there's so many games? He needs to play De Gea in one of them, in my opinion. You know, we've got these 3 games. We've got Villa, Leicester, Liverpool. That's 3, and then I think we've got Wolves next week as well. That's 4 games left. He has to play at least 2 for me in the lead up to it. I would play him in the last game of the season, because that's the last game before the final. Get him ticking over, and I'd probably play him in the Liverpool game as well. That's what I would do, and I'd play Henderson tomorrow and Tuesday. That's my opinion. Ollie probably won't do it, but like Jake Norman says there, Dave needs time to play against Liverpool. He does. McGinn, cheap alternative to Rice, says Simon Gales. You know what? John McGinn's a really good player. You know, John McGinn's a really good player. I do like him, and he's not a player that you look at and you associate with Man United. He's not a player that you look at and actually think is very good. It takes a certain type of football fan or football understanding to realise how good a player John McGinn is. But having said that, cheap alternative to Rice was the question from Simon Gales. Not for me. How cheap would he be? He would be what? 35, 40 million, which obviously is probably half the price of what Rice would cost. But I do think Rice is a far better player. I think in Villa's system, I think McGinn is very good. But I wouldn't take him at Man United. I wouldn't. He kind of, you know, he plays alongside McTominay in the Scottish squad, and I'm not being rude, but he's also not that kind of holding player as well. But also, how much better is he than what we have, McGinn? Do you know what I'm saying? I look at Rice and I look at it and say, I think he really is way better than McTominay and Fred. But I don't think McGinn is. So I'm saying, Zayn Miassi, Spotify is securing Grealish for us. Time for a clear out, says Zayn. Well, you know what I will say, Zayn Miassi? It's a great job you're here, bro, because I was getting worried. We did see you on the night you went out and we ain't seen you since. Good to hear from you, pal. Good to hear that you're good. Good to hear that you're doing your thing and you're alive and you're well. Do you know what I'm saying? Because your club is needs I I don't know what Arsenal needs. I don't know what Arsenal need. They need a lot. They need a lot. But yeah, so that's the rotation I think we'll go with, or we should go with. I think the back four can basically stay the same. I think he'll go McTominay and Matic in midfield, because that'll give a rest to Fred, who played 90 minutes, and McTominay didn't play, and Matic didn't play, so they'll be fresh. I would play Donny in the 10 instead of Bruno, and I'd rest him, but Ollie won't do that. I definitely would start Marcus Rashford on the left, and I would start Cavani up front. Greenwood did play 90 minutes, and I'm not against him starting today. On Sunday, I'm not against him starting on the right again. There's no Dan James, and he's not going to start Ahmad, which worries me, and I can't see him bringing in Mata. I think that Mata will probably maybe come in on the right-hand side if we need to on the Tuesday game. But I forgot Pogba, because Pogba got taken off quite early as well. So I would start, I'll put Rashford on the right, Pogba on the left, and I'll go with Cavani. I think that's fine, because those players didn't play 90 minutes. Do you know what I mean? At all. So I think that'll be fine to go with them. And it is going to be an interesting game, though. I mean, look, Villa don't, when I was speaking to, I done a shoot with Tyrone Mings a few weeks back, and we were talking afterwards just about the game and just talking about how Villa are doing and stuff. And he said that since Jack Grealish has not been there, they've just really struggled. They've really struggled without Jack Grealish. And look, obviously I didn't need him to tell me that. Everyone can know that. That's how good Jack Grealish is. But they really have been a mixed bag. Look at the start that Villa had. They were right up there. They were talking about them pushing for a top 4 place, or definitely Europe. And it just shows how influential Jack Grealish is. Like I said, 2 wins in their last 7. You don't really know what they're going to get. Although they do keep a lot of clean sheets, Villa. They do keep a lot of clean sheets. They were good last time out against Everton when they beat them as well. That was a good performance from them. But I expect to beat them. I do. Or I definitely expect not to get beat. Do you know what I'm saying? One thing he did say, though, to me, Tyrone Mings, he was basically saying how good Ollie Watkins is, because I was saying how I rate him. And he was saying in training how strong he is and how quick he is and what a good finisher he is. And, you can see that, Lindelof and Maguire will have to be on their toes. But, I think they should have enough in them, and we should dominate enough for Ollie Watkins not to give us the runaround by himself without Jack Grealish there as well. Because you look at how Villa played against us in the league when we won via a penalty, and Eric Bailly made that last-ditch block. They were onto us. Do you know what I mean? They were onto us. And Jack Grealish was a big part of that. Ollie Watkins was a big part of that. The way they link up is an absolute madness. You know what I'm saying? It really is. And they just haven't looked the same team. So, yeah, and I was getting on to Mings as well, because the last time we played them at Old Trafford with fans there, he banged in an equaliser. Pissed me off. Told him. And he was chucking it, saying left foot banger. I mean, it was a tap-in, Tyrone. Yeah, it was a tap-in, mate. But, yeah, we need to beat these. And I think what better way to just secure everything than go and get the job done again? Because if Chelsea lose against Man City or draw, just say drop points, which is likely. You know what I mean? Chelsea are a very good side at the moment. They don't score loads of goals. They're just difficult to break down. Man City are on it right now, and they're playing amazing football, and they want to get this league sorted. So that will be a really competitive game today. Is it today? I think it is. If Chelsea drop points, Leicester have already dropped points, and then we go and win, we can afford to put our feet up for the rest of the season, almost. Do you know what I'm saying? And really focus on that Europa League. Give Ahmad some game time. Start Donny in almost all the games, even though we got this quick turnaround. We can do it. Play Bailly, rest Lindelof, really get players out the starting lineup, and get a mixture of them playing who are going to be ready for the Europa League final. Because although you can say it's against Villarreal, we should beat them no matter what team we put out, on paper this, on paper that. I don't care. We need to be rested and going into the game fit. And if we can go and get the job done and go fairly strong tomorrow, I don't see that being an issue. I think that will be better. I think that'll be way better for us, to be honest. Because for me, it will be job done. It will be job done. None of this if we finish in second bullshit, if we do this, if we do that. Go and get it done. Flex, I would say rest Cavani. This is from Iab. I would say rest Cavani for Aston Villa game and play him against Leicester and Liverpool. But there's no way he's going to be able to play that, though. This is the issue for me with what you're saying before I finish off. Well, you said, we need his fitness against these sides. Against Villa, play Greenwood as a striker and Rashford. I see what you're saying, Ihad, but Cavani's not going to be able to start against. He's not going to be able to start against Leicester and then one day later start against Liverpool. I think we have to choose. We have to choose. And I think what you do is you play Cavani tomorrow and then leave him to rest until Thursday. I think he doesn't even get on the pitch against Leicester on Tuesday, personally, because I think if we play him tomorrow, which is our strongest team, with Pogba and Rashford, and get the job done and beat Villa, cigars are up against Leicester. Just don't lose. Do you know what I mean? Don't even matter. Just don't even matter if we don't beat Leicester. Do you know what I mean? But make the wholesale changes so it's a mixed bag. We might even lose. That's the worst thing. If we make wholesale changes and do a madness and put like 2 Nzabi right back, Eric Bailly centre back with say Lindelof because we gave Maguire a rest, Tellers at left back, Matic and McTominay, Donny at number 10, Ahmad on the right, Greenwood up front, and say someone else on the left, maybe Rashford. That's a whole, or put Mata in somewhere. We could lose the game against Leicester because that's a team we have not even seen all season, literally the second string. But if it's off the back of winning against Villa, I don't think it'd be too bad. And then you bring the strong ones in again against Liverpool and do the job against them, in my opinion. Super chat here from Mini19 says, no James is already great news. That guy is just not good. Look, he's injured, man. So don't. I get what you're saying. You're saying, in your opinion, you don't want Dan James to play because you don't rate him. But he's on the road back from recovery, man. So allow Dan James a little bit. Allow Dan James. And like I said, Dan James is a good squad player, in my opinion. He's a good squad player. I think he has his place. And we've won some big games with Dan James. I just think in the evolution of Man United and the way we want to be looking to play, I do agree with that on the counter-attack and just relying on someone to just run in behind, probably there will come a point where Dan James, I believe, will get left behind in terms of the evolution of Man United versus the evolution of his game. But right now, in the squad that he is in and where he's at and where we're at, I think he's a decent squad player. I really do. Smash a like on the video. You lot over 4,000 watching on Saturday morning. That is good. We've spoken about basically, if you're just joining us, the Grealish, transfer priority, or basically the Glazers wanted to appease us with a marquee signing, which we're not having. That's what we spoke about. Kind of back to the Glazers a little bit again. There's another protest scheduled for Thursday. I want to talk a little bit about that because I'm not saying we shouldn't protest. I think we need to keep up the pace. I think we need to keep on the Glazers' necks, as the expression goes, and we need to keep our voices heard. I'm all for it. It'd be very interesting to see how Man United respond to this, right? Because I think they were ill prepared for the first one. They've already, I've seen media reports saying that Man United, the security is going to be, completely heightened, and so it should. So there shouldn't be a situation. There should be a situation where we get a protest like what it should have been the other week, or which it largely was, which was peaceful, done in the right way, passionate, vocal, loud, intense, without the overspill, like you said, of getting the game cancelled. Do I want to see the game cancelled again to make a statement? I don't want to see the game cancelled because I think it's then starting to impact on the players probably a bit too much. I 100% understand that we shouldn't stop, and I 100% understand why another protest needs to happen. I'm 100% for that. But in terms of going over the line, definitely, never going over the line. Never going over the line in terms of people getting injured and violence. There was a police officer whose face was scarred for life. That's a disgrace. That shouldn't be happening. And to the few idiots who were doing that and being violent, which was a very, very minute few, I don't condone that. But the breaking into the ground or getting let in or whatever you want to call it and getting the game called off, stopping the team from leaving the bus, from leaving the Lowry, I think it's Man United's job. You could say it's supporters' job to not do it, Flex. I understand that. But really, we're so frustrated and we want our voices to be heard. The people who are going to the extreme level or maybe going to stop the bus leaving again, I don't know. I kind of see where their frustration is coming from. I see it more as it's the club with the resources they have and the organisation they have and the knowledge that they have that last week was an absolute write-off. It's their job to make sure that the game goes ahead. They obviously didn't have enough stewards or police forces in and around where the Munich tunnel bit was. They obviously didn't have enough planning time, or didn't sort out what they needed to sort out to ensure that the bus could leave. Change where the players stay. Make the players all stay at home, and then meet up at Carrington or something without telling anyone. Meet up at Carrington and get the bus from there, so the supporters don't have the chance to wreck it. This is on the club to make sure that this game goes ahead. I don't think it's really on the fans. And I know that sounds weird, and you know what? Maybe I'm being a little bit naive, but in my opinion, I think the fans, we're frustrated, and we're going to keep being vocal. We ain't going to stop. And what happens is, not everyone has the same amount of self-control. Not everyone maybe doesn't get beard up on a drink and stuff. And then after they've been doing that for a couple of hours, they then start to, take it too far. I myself, I can go to a protest like 98% of the people who did go to the protest, keep my head, keep my wits about me, and do it in the right way, and do it in a passionate, vocal way, but not overstep the mark. But not everybody can do that. But what the club does have the power to do is put things in place from now, to make sure that if fans lose control of themselves or get a little bit silly, it doesn't affect on the players and the game. That's my opinion. Do you know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. Why, it's a necessary evil flex, as Fergie's just says. Exactly. And then it kind of is like that. The protests are not evil. We need to keep protesting. So I'm for that. I am for that, because this is feeding into, what we're going to do, just forget. We have to keep going. We have to keep going. I just don't want the game to be cancelled. However, you have to remember that Man United now have had ample time to work out what to do if there's another big protest on Thursday, which it looks like there is going to be. You have to change the routine of the team. Don't make them go to the Lowry the night before and stay there. It's not ideal. Stay at home. All you players drive to Carrington. The bus is going to be there. The fans won't know. Now I'm saying it. Fans might be watching it saying, I'll tell you what, Flex has got a point. Let's get down to Carrington. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But, what I'm saying is that there needs to be a different plan involved. Get the players there 4 hours early. You know what I mean? So what if they have to be bored sitting in the change room? Make them sit on their tablets or watch Netflix or something. Make them go in their boxes. All the players probably got boxes. Serve some food for them in the boxes or whatever. Do something. Get there super early, so all the players are already in there. Tell Liverpool to get there really early. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think there's ways around it for Man United. And like you said, the police presence around the Lowry, the police presence around Old Trafford, if that is at a high level, if you push the barriers back further and have more police there, it's all your fault, Flex, says John Happy. Yeah, exactly. Then Man United have a chance of sorting it out and making sure that the game goes ahead. That's all I would say on it. I think it's good that we're protesting. I back any fans who want to have their say and any fans who want to speak out against the Glazers. Because are we starting to see change? I don't know if we're starting to see change because we haven't seen the action yet, but we're starting to see dialogue. We're starting to see dialogue, which is a start. And dialogue is where we want to be at. That's what we want to see, dialogue at the beginning. But we need to see action. Dialogue is just the first phase. Dialogue is something you can just initiate. That costs nothing. It's free. It's free. What we really need to see is money. And when I say money, I mean them giving up power to the fans so they have less money. Therefore, they have to put more money into the club, clear the debt, and the fans have a say. And the fans have ownership over the club. That's what we start needing. That's what we need to start seeing. Not just dialogue and letters saying, actually, yeah, you're right, we're going to engage more, we're going to do this and do that. All of that's lovely. Telling us you're going to pay the fines and stuff when it's our money, you're going to pay it with anyway. All of that bullshit is just that costs nothing. To sit down with a media, the public relations person at Old Trafford with Joel Glazer and write a 700-word letter, it costs nothing. It's free. And then tweet it out on the socials, it's free. Yeah? So that's not really changed. That's just a quick little thing to pacify the fans. Joshua Bowater says, is the World Cup next summer? Yes, it is. If so, that means these players won't get a proper break until the summer of 2023. Madness. You know what, Joshua? it's been so crazy talking about the Euros this year because they're not going to get a rest, and you look at how crazy the season's been. But you're right, that will be a madness. That will be a madness. Yeah. And Dewey Guy says actions speak louder than words. And Ricky says, which it definitely isn't the Ricky. Ricky's on Instagram, by the way, as well. Check out his Instagram account. I will be doing that. I know Ricky has no clue how to use Instagram. His wife will be helping him to do it. But big up, Rick. But Ricky says, Dan James is different gravy fleck. Don't know what you're talking about. United moving past Dan James, never. Maybe that is the real Ricky. That is something he definitely would say. World Cup is in the winter. Do you know what? Actually, what, in the winter of next season? As in halfway, like during the season? When is the World Cup? Bruh. So it's next year in November. Okay, so they're going to do it in winter because Qatar's just too baking hot. So that means that whoa. So next season, what's happening? This is nuts. I've just learned this now. I thought it was just at the end of next season, but it's in the... So does that mean that we're going to have to stop the season between November and December and halt the Premier League season for a couple of months, do the World Cup, and then the players come back and just carry on the season? Is that what's happening? I didn't know that, says Jay Ali says, you didn't know that. Yeah, yeah. Brian says, I didn't even remember there was a World Cup. Exactly. You got to remember, COVID has kind of done a madness. You just forget. Okay, yep, split season. So majority's there on the buttons. Wow. That's crazy, isn't it? At least, well, you say that, but it means that the fixture pile-up's going to be mad because we're going to have to squeeze in a whole lot of games in that time because it is the dates that the World Cup is Monday 21st of November 22 to Sunday the 18th of December. So, that's the best part, just short of a month in that we have to take out. So it's a month worth of Premier League fixtures, which is probably about 4 fixtures. So actually, you probably just play a couple of midweek games, I suppose. Maybe it isn't that bad. There's a month off. If there's a month off, it means per team, how many games would you play in the Premier League month? If you have 1 a week, you're going to play 4. Sometimes they make you play a midweek game. So you might have maybe 6 at the top. But I think penciling in an extra 6 games with a month out of the season isn't that bad. I think it's just more weird. It's just more crazy that that's happening. But what it will show is that actually, more to the point, these players are going to finish on May the 25th, when we have the Europa League final. I'm just talking about our players. Then they're going to go to the Euros, which starts in July. When are the Euros? So the Euros start on the 11th of June, all right, ish. England's game against Croatia is the 13th of June. So a month after finishing, not even a full month, less than a full month after finishing the Europa League, they got to go to the Euros, our players, come back from then. When does the Premier League start? That's going to start in August. When does Premier League start? 21. I can't bother to find out, but that's going to start. That's going to start August the 14th. There you go. Start date 21-22, August the 14th. So that's not a big turnaround. Derry75 says, Flex, had you thought until the Glazers pay off the loan, they don't actually own the club outright? Yes, true, but unfortunately, they don't have to own the club outright because they're the majority owners of the club and they get dividends out of the club. They get the shares out of the club. They take money out. They make money out of the club, even though it's still in debt. It's I suppose it's like owning a car on PCP. Do you know what I mean? You don't own the car, but you can use it every day and use it for your work, and essentially the car can make you money, even though you don't actually own it. You're in debt to pay the car off. You see what I'm saying? You're leasing it, but you don't own the car. You can't just do what you want with it because you technically don't own it, but you can use the car to help you make money because you use it for your job, or you might do whatever you need to do with your car that helps you. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, look at that. Sky News, Donald Trump looking to buy United. Oh my God. Look at that. which is obviously not real, but I'm just saying it's a bit mad. The last thing I want to touch on, just before we finish off, was just really quickly. It was some comments that Ashley Young made about Lukaku, actually. And it just got me thinking. I want to see what you guys think about this. This is what Ashley Young said. He said, I said it at the time. I couldn't understand the decision to sell Lukaku. Whether it was made quickly or not, Romelu has proved a lot of people wrong. He's worked unbelievably hard. There was talk that he was overweight and couldn't do this or that. He smashed a record and made history in Italy. He's been unbelievable for the club. For me, he was fantastic even in the Premier League. To go out there and face another challenge, I think it was the right choice for him. He deserves all the plaudits he's getting. Now, look, people sometimes do this and say, oh, you know, look at Ashley Young, look at Darmian, look at Sanchez, and look at Lukaku. All four of them left Man United and they've gone and won the league in Serie A. We should never have let them go. I completely disagree with that 100%. I think a lot of them reached their shelf lives at Man United. And you look at, you know, Luke Shaw compared to Ashley Young at left back. Luke Shaw's clear. Darmian at right back to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka's clear. Wan-Bissaka could go to Inter Milan and play in that system and in that team and win the Serie A too. Luke Shaw could play left back instead of, or left wing back instead of Ashley Young at Inter Milan and be part of that same team too and win the league. Alexis Sanchez, now we've got Bruno. What? Would you prefer to have him? No. But on the Lukaku situation though, I do think respect does need to be put on his name. Aido says Lukaku decided to go. It wasn't Ollie's decision. That's true, but why did he decide to go? He decided to go because Ollie didn't want him as his main striker. Didn't fit his style of play. And then what happened is Lukaku left. We put faith in Martial for the first season, which did work. But then the second season, it didn't work. And we were like, we need a proper striker, Then we got Cavani in, who's a proper striker. And then we're saying this is why Martial maybe shouldn't be the number 9 because we need a proper number 9. So really, could Ollie have adapted to suit the needs of Lukaku? Because one thing about Lukaku, which I was saying at the time he needed to go and stuff, I was part of it. And I'm just looking back now and even questioning myself. Yes, his touch and all that stuff. The guy gets goals. Ricky says Serie A is a fisherman's league, slightly better than a farmer's league. You say that, but he still got goals at Man United. Lukaku's still bagged. He done it at Everton too. He's got over 100 Premier League goals, I think. Lukaku has. I want to say. I'm going to check that. Premier League 100 club. But anyway, Lukaku's a bagsman. He's Belgium's top scorer. And I get it. Premier League 100 club. I get it. You can say that Belgium have a lot better players, but also you have to say that he's a consistent goal scorer. Oh no, he hasn't got over. Maybe he hasn't got over 100 league goals. Oh, he has got. Yeah, he has got 113 goals. There you go. Lukaku, he's 20th in the list. 113 goals in 252 appearances. So that's what I mean. Like he is a goal scorer, and he's proved that he's gone somewhere else and scored. So. Whereas, yeah, okay, Ollie clearly made his decision. That's fine. I respect that. And essentially, after Lukaku's left, we've finished third and looks like seconds, and we're making progress. Dougie Young says it was time for Lukaku to go. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying it is a bit nuts that the disrespect he gets because he is a top draw striker. He is. Like, he scores goals. Look, you see Luke Haynes there saying Lukaku is trash. He only stat pads. Well, how do you stat pad as a striker? If you if you get 25 goals a season every year as a striker, you're not stat padding because you're doing your fucking job. Like, it isn't the definition of a striker to score goals. What we say with Bobby Firmino and when we've not been too fond of Rashford is, it's not enough just to have hold up play and stuff like that. At the end of the day, you're a striker for us to put the ball in the back of the onion bag. I mean, like, that's what it is. When you play a certain way, I'm seeing Lukaku being very, very effective. I'm just saying, if we played in a different way and Solskjaer was more willing to do that, maybe Lukaku could have still been a success at Man United. Am I disappointed that he's there and not with us? No, because I think we're in a different space now. I don't mind that. But Lukaku is a bagsman. I respect Ollie for moving him on. That's fine. But I just think that a lot of disrespect gets put on his name when the guy is a big striker. He's a big striker in world football. The guy scores goals wherever he goes. And the reason why he left wasn't just because all of a sudden he thought, Man United, shit, I want to leave. It's because Ollie came in and said, I don't really want you to be my striker. And he's like, well, I'm better than that. Wherever I go, I should be the number one striker because I'm a bags man and I score goals. So I'm going to go to Inter. And he's won the title there for the first time in 9 years for Inter. What can you say to that? Joshua Bower says, in reality, Lukaku was playing with no service. He'd have looked a lot better in this team with the players we have now compared to when he was here. There you go. Imagine, like, obviously, I know we had Pogba, we had Rashford, we had Martial when he was here, but you look at Bruno, you look at Shaw playing how he plays now, you look at Wan-Bissaka getting up and down. We still need to make improvements. Greenwood's kicked on a little bit. Lukaku in it. If Lukaku was where Cavani is now, he'd score goals. He'd score goals. He would, because he scored Serie A poor standard. But I get all that. But it's a poor standard. But he's still been the spearhead of a team who haven't been able to topple Juventus in ages. And yes, Juventus are on the decline, but they still had Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? The guy's scoring goals, man. I'm just saying, put respect on his name. He's a stat padder. How could a striker be a stat? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, actually, now I'm deep in it. How can a striker be a stat padder for goals? Oh, he gets 30 goals every season. What a stat padder. Fucking hell, mate. You're a striker. You're supposed to score loads of goals. I don't care what else you do. I think you're more of a stat padder even though it ain't actually stats, but if you're like just bringing people into play, or you've got good hold-up play as a striker, but you don't score. Do you know what I'm saying? Yasser said Lukaku is a Chelsea striker, in my opinion, like how Werner suits Liverpool, must mean, and Thiago suits Man City, etc. Yeah, exactly. That's another thing. Great point. If Lukaku goes back to Chelsea after all them years under Tuchel, I'm not saying it's going to happen. If he did, they will be complete. We'll be like, fucking hell. They got Werner one side, Ziyech the other, or Mount on the other side, Hudson-Odoi that side, or whatever you want to, Pulisic that one side, either out of Lukaku, with Mason Mount in the 10, Kovacic or Jorginho and Kante just behind. You know what I mean? He's the missing part of their jigsaw. So what I'm saying is just drop the Lukaku slander like he's not a good striker, because he is. It just didn't work out for us, and he went on to pastures new, and he's better for it. That was all I was going to say. Anyway, smash a like on the video, you lot. Thanks very much for watching. Appreciate it. And roll on Sunday, man. Roll on this very important run of games. Win tomorrow. We can get the cigars out. Second place will be secured. Even if Chelsea win, we'll be 6 points ahead of them. I think we'll be fine. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Peace.